All right, so get ready because today we're taking a deep dive into some pretty powerful poetry.
Poetry.
Yeah, Psalms 26 through 30.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You might be thinking ancient poetry, really? But trust me on this one. These verses are packed with timeless wisdom.
Timeless.
Oh, yeah. It's about trusting in something bigger than yourself, finding strength in those tough times, and, even celebrating those joyful moments.
And, it's fascinating how these songs written thousands of years ago still resonate with our experiences today.
Yeah, it really is amazing. So let's jump right in. Let's start with Psalm 26. David's really laying it all out there before God, emphasizing his integrity and his commitment to righteousness. What are your initial thoughts on this one?
It was interesting because, David doesn't just say, hey, I'm a good person. He lists these very specific actions that demonstrate his integrity.
Like what kind of actions?
Like refusing to associate with evildoers or being careful about where he even sets foot.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, look, I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk.
Right. It makes you wonder, does that level of self-awareness make his pleas more powerful? Like he's inviting scrutiny and not shying away from it at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing to claim to be righteous, but it's another thing entirely to actually back it up with concrete actions.
For sure. So David's willingness to be so transparent, to open himself up to that kind of judgment, it speaks volumes about his commitment to living a life of integrity.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in our own sense of righteousness. But how often do we actually stop and examine our actions, our choices, with that same level of honesty and scrutiny?
It's a good point, and it's definitely a challenge for sure. We all have those blind spots, I think,
For sure.
areas where we might not be living up to our own ideals. But I think David's example in Psalm 26 can be a powerful reminder to engage in that kind of self-reflection, to ask ourselves, are my actions truly aligned with my beliefs?
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on to Psalm 27, and we're hitting a fan favorite here. The Lord is my light and my salvation. It's such a powerful declaration of faith and trust.
It is, but I don't think this psalm is just about blind faith.
Okay, so then what is it about?
It's about facing your fears, but facing them head on because you have something unshakable to rely on.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You have a source of strength that allows you to face challenges with courage and resilience.
Exactly.
I mean, but isn't blind faith sometimes necessary? How do we balance active waiting with simply trusting the process?
That's a great question. It is a very delicate balance for sure. There are times when we need to take action. We need to fight for what we believe in.
Right.
But there are also times when the wisest course of action is to wait, to trust that things will unfold as they should.
Yeah, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is to simply let go, to surrender control and just have faith that things will work out.
Exactly. And that's where I think the concept of active waiting comes in.
Okay, so what is active waiting?
Well, it's not about passively sitting back and just doing nothing.
Okay.
It's about actively cultivating a sense of trust, of hope, even in the face of uncertainty.
I see. So how would you say David demonstrates that in this psalm?
Well, he repeatedly affirms his faith in God's protection and guidance. He acknowledges that there are enemies and dangers out there.
Right.
But he chooses to focus on his trust in a higher power.
And that's what gives him the courage to keep going.
Exactly. To wait with a sense of hope and expectation.
It reminds me of that saying, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it.
Oh, okay.
It's about acknowledging the fear, but choosing to act despite it, fueled by that inner strength and that trust.
Precisely. It's about finding that source of strength within ourselves, that resilience that allows us to keep going even when things are tough. And, that's a message that resonates deeply with all of us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No matter what challenges we're facing.
For sure.
Okay, let's talk about Psalm 28. Ever feel like you're shouting into the void? David certainly did. This psalm is a raw and unfiltered cry for help, a moment of deep despair.
Yes, but even in this desperate plea, there's a shift from despair to gratitude.
And
It's like he's clinging to the memory of past victories, to those times when he felt God's presence and help,
okay.
using those experiences to fuel his hope in this moment of darkness.
So it's like he's drawing on this reserve. This reservoir of strength, remembering those times when he overcame challenges.
Yeah.
And using that to fuel his hope in the present.
Exactly. It's
Yep.
like he's saying, I've been through tough times before, and with God's help, I know I can get through this too.
Right. there's real power in remembering past victories, you know?
Absolutely.
Recognizing that we've faced adversity before and we came out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles.
For sure.
That we have that inner strength to draw upon.
And that can be incredibly empowering, right?
Absolutely. Remembering those past triumphs can give us the courage to face our present challenges.
Oh.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about Psalm 29. Hold on to your hats, folks. This one's a full-on celebration of God's power in nature. You know, think epic storms, roaring waterfalls, that kind of energy.
Oh, yeah. You can almost hear the thunder and feel the wind just reading the words.
Right.
What's interesting to me is that it's not just about raw power.
Okay.
There's also this sense of majesty, of awe-inspiring beauty.
Yes. It's a reminder that that same force that shapes mountains and oceans is also present in our lives.
Wow.
A source of both awe and comfort. It makes me wonder, do you think experiencing that sense of awe, that feeling of being in the presence of something much greater than ourselves, can actually change us?
That's a great question. I mean, I know for me, when I'm out in nature, whether it's hiking in the mountains or even just watching a sunset, I definitely feel a sense of peace and perspective. It's like my worries kind of shrink in comparison to the vastness of the universe.
Exactly. And, you know, some researchers actually believe that experiencing awe can make us more altruistic, more likely to help others.
Really?
It's like it shifts our focus outward, away from our own self-interest, and makes us more aware of the interconnectedness of all things.
Wow, that's fascinating. So it's not just about pretty scenery. It's about tapping into something deeper.
Yeah.
Something that connects us to something bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key takeaway from Psalm 29. It's a reminder that we're part of something much grander, you know, than our own individual lives. And that recognition can be both humbling and inspiring.
Definitely something to reflect on next time you're out in nature. All right, bringing us home, we have Psalm 30. Buckle up for some serious hope, because this psalm is all about moving from darkness to light, from sorrow to joy.
Okay.
It's a reminder that tough times don't last forever.
Right. And it's not about denying those difficult emotions either.
Yeah.
It acknowledges the reality of pain and suffering, but it also points to the possibility of healing and renewal.
Yeah, it's about holding on to that glimmer of hope even when things are rough.
Exactly.
It's like that feeling of coming out of a long, dark tunnel and suddenly being bathed in sunlight. It's a reminder that there's always hope, even when we can't see it in the moment.
I like that.
But what I find really interesting is that it doesn't shy away from the pain. You know, David doesn't pretend that everything is okay. He acknowledges the darkness, the weeping, the despair.
Right. And that's what makes it so relatable.
Yeah.
It's not about toxic positivity.
Right.
Or pretending that everything is always sunshine and rainbows. It's about recognizing that life is full of both joy and sorrow, and that it's okay to experience the full range of human emotions.
It's like that saying, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Yes.
It acknowledges the reality of pain and suffering, but it also points to the possibility of healing and renewal. And that can be incredibly comforting, especially when you're going through a difficult time.
Exactly. It's a message of resilience, of hope, of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. And that's a message that resonates deeply with the human experience. Because, let's face it, life is full of ups and downs.
Oh, for sure.
Of moments of joy and sorrow. But this psalm reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there's always the possibility of light.
Right.
Of hope, of joy breaking through.
Yeah, it really does feel like a universal truth, you know? That even in the depths of despair, there's always a spark of hope waiting to be rekindled.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like that saying, this too shall pass.
Right.
A reminder that nothing is permanent.
Yeah.
Not even our pain. And, you know, in those moments when we emerge from the darkness, when the light starts to break through, we often experience the deepest sense of gratitude, the most profound appreciation for even the simple joys of life.
It's like what you said earlier about awe changing us.
Yeah.
I bet that feeling of relief, of moving from sorrow to joy, can have a similar impact. Maybe it makes us more compassionate, more understanding of others who are going through tough times.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Having gone through our own trials and emerged on the other side, you know, we develop a deeper empathy for those who are still struggling. It's like we've earned this new level of wisdom, a deeper understanding of the human condition.
And that wisdom, that perspective can be so valuable,
Yeah.
both for ourselves and for those around us. It's like we become these beacons of hope,
Right.
showing others that it is possible to come through the darkness and find the light again.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored themes of integrity, resilience, awe, and hope.
Yeah, 5 songs.
A whirlwind of emotions.
For sure.
And some pretty profound takeaways.
Absolutely. If you had to pick one phrase from our dive to carry with you today, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There are so many good ones. But I think for me, it'd be that powerful image from Psalm 30. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, dawn is always on its way. A new day will come, bringing with it the possibility of healing, renewal, and joy.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder these ancient words and how they might resonate in your own life today. Until next time, may you find strength in your struggles, hope in your heart, and joy in your journey.